The movie opens with an intense fight inside a car. A woman named Riley North is fighting for her life while facing a thug who is trying to kill her. During the fight, Riley manages to injure the man with a knife. Even so, she's still not safe. To save herself, Riley eventually shoots the man dead. After making sure no one saw anything, Riley puts his body in the trunk of the car and leaves the scene. She then heads to a rundown area called Skid Row, which has become her hiding place. From the old car Riley lives in, it's clear that she lives alone and keeps moving from place to place. While enduring the pain, Riley cleans a gunshot wound on her body by herself. She drinks alcohol to ease the pain, then stitches the wound without anyone's help. While looking for something inside the car, Riley finds a box of cupcakes that immediately brings back memories of the past. From there, the story shifts to 5 years earlier. 5 years earlier, Riley's life was very different. Back then, she was living happily with her husband, Chris, and their daughter, Carly. After attending a bake sale, Riley and Carly run into a woman named Peg, who starts complaining about the way they park their car. Peg then insults them and talks down to them. Annoyed by Peg's behavior, Carly wants to get back at her, but Riley teaches her daughter not to fight hate with hate. According to Riley, violence only makes things worse and never truly solves anything.
Don't say that. Well, she is. But I know you took the morning off work.
A little while later, Riley leaves Carly with Chris because she has to go back to work. Before leaving, she asks Chris to make sure Carly's birthday party goes well. Riley works at a bank and hopes she can get home on time to celebrate her daughter's special day. But when she arrives at the office, her boss forces her to work overtime because several employees didn't show up. Even though Riley repeatedly explains that it's Carly's birthday, her boss still doesn't care. Meanwhile, Chris is dealing with problems in his business. His business partner, Mickey, offers him a deal with a pretty big risk. Mickey promises huge profits that he believes could change her family's life for the better. Chris starts feeling tempted because he wants to give Riley and Carly a more comfortable future. But without realizing it, that decision becomes the beginning of a disaster.
Nobody knows, nobody will know. All you gotta do is drive. You wanna get Riley a house, right?
When Riley finally gets home, she finds Carly's birthday party already ruined. Not a single one of Carly's friends shows up because almost all the kids choose to attend another party that Peg deliberately holds at the same time. Naturally, Carly feels heartbroken and disappointed, seeing her daughter lose her spirit. Riley tries to cheer her up. She takes Carly and Chris to a Christmas carnival, so Carly's birthday can still be a happy memory. Carly quickly becomes excited again. Chris also says that everything will get better. For a moment, they look like a happy family enjoying the evening together once again.
It's your birthday. We are just the three of us. It'll be fun.
Ice cream. Yes.
But without them knowing, someone is watching them from a distance. A gang member named Cortez secretly follows Chris and reports his location to a powerful drug cartel boss named Diego Garcia. It turns out Garcia already knows that Chris was once involved in a plan related to money from his drug trafficking operation. Even though Chris eventually backs out of the plan, Garcia still sees him as a threat. To Garcia, anyone who dares to mess with his business has to be punished as a warning to everyone else. That's why Garcia orders his men to kill Chris and his entire family. While Riley, Chris, and Carly are enjoying the Christmas carnival, 3 hitmen arrive at the scene. Without any warning, they immediately open fire on the family. The attack happens so quickly that they have no chance to escape. Chris and Carly are killed on the spot, while Riley, after being hit by several bullets, still struggles to crawl toward her daughter. With her body covered in wounds and blood, Riley holds Carly's lifeless body in her arms as she cries hysterically. In just a matter of seconds, everything Riley had built in her life is completely destroyed. Not long after, ambulances and the police arrive at the scene. Riley is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Meanwhile, at the crime scene, Detective Carmichael and his partner, Detective Moises, begin investigating the case. Even Carmichael, who is used to handling all kinds of criminal cases, feels heartbroken when he sees Carly's small body, a victim of the killer's brutality.
What's the difference between us and them?
A month later, Riley finally wakes up from her coma in the hospital. Carmichael immediately comes to see her and explains that the police have already arrested the 3 shooting suspects. However, Carmichael also warns her that the 3 suspects could be released if Riley isn't willing to testify and identify them in person. At the same time, Riley learns the truth about why her family was killed. Chris had become a target because he was once involved in a plan to steal money from Diego Garcia. Even though the plan was never carried out, word of it had already reached Garcia. To protect his reputation and power, Garcia ordered the murders as a warning to anyone who dared to go against him. Heartbroken, Riley looks through old photos of herself with Chris and Carly once again. The happy memories that once brought her joy now only make her sense of loss even greater. Even so, Riley remains determined to help with the investigation by remembering the killers' faces.
Cell phone. Your husband did refuse to go, but can't prove anything.
After that, Riley is taken to view a police lineup. She successfully identifies the 3 men who attack her family that night. But behind the process, the situation turns out to be much more complicated than Riley had imagined. Moises then tells Carmichael that a police officer who once tried to expose Diego Garcia's network suddenly disappeared without a trace. It shows that Garcia's influence has reached deep into law enforcement. Realizing how dangerous the case is, some people begin distancing themselves from it.
Garcia has a nickname, and he's on the wrong side of the grass at Metro Homicide Headquarters.
Meanwhile, Riley's life continues to fall apart. She receives an eviction notice from her home and starts packing up the belongings she has left. In the middle of her grief, Riley keeps looking at photos of Carly while trying to hold on to the last memories of her daughter. Not long later, a lawyer named Henderson comes to see her. Henderson actually works for the people trying to protect the killers. He offers Riley a sum of money if she's willing to drop the legal case. When Riley refuses the offer, Henderson starts attacking her credibility by bringing up the antidepressants she used to take. He tries to convince everyone that Riley's testimony can't be trusted because of her mental condition.
I think it's time for you to leave.
Maybe you make them all pay.
When the trial begins, Henderson's strategy successfully influences the case. Henderson keeps pressuring Riley with questions about her treatment and psychological condition. Little by little, the attention in the courtroom shifts from the killers to Riley herself. Even worse, the prosecutor, who is supposed to fight for justice, seems unmotivated and almost unwilling to challenge the other side. Riley feels like she has to face everything on her own, including the system that was supposed to protect her. In the end, the judge rules in favor of the defendants. The people who murder her husband and daughter are set free. To Riley, the decision feels like her family has been killed for the second time. Filled with anger and despair, Riley protests the decision in the courtroom. She screams that the justice system has failed to deliver justice. But before she can do anything else, an officer shocks her with a taser, causing her to collapse helplessly. After that incident, Riley is declared mentally unstable and placed in a mental health program. From that moment on, her trust in the legal system is completely destroyed. Riley doesn't just lose her family. She also loses her belief that anyone will ever punish the people responsible for the tragedy. In the end, Riley fights back and tries to disappear while escaping from police.
You all right?
Several years later, an investigator named Lisa contacts Carmichael and Moises to tell them that before disappearing, Riley stole $5,000 from the bank where she worked. They begin to suspect that Riley may be connected to the series of murders that had taken place, and they believe she has spent the past several years living in hiding without being detected. But without them knowing, Riley is actually preparing her revenge against everyone responsible for her family's deaths. She even plans to finish everything on the 5th anniversary of the tragedy. At the same time, Riley sneaks into Judge Stevens' house and takes him hostage. She nails both of the judge's hands to the table and forces him to remember the case that destroyed her life. Riley then exposes the corrupt act Stevens has been involved in all this time. After that, Riley takes a toy from a display in the house, then leaves the place.
Oh, you have.
I will.
Not long later, Riley gets on a bus and presses a bomb detonator. The bomb she had previously planted inside Judge Stevens' house explodes instantly, killing him on the spot. Carmichael quickly learns about the incident and discovers that Riley had also killed Attorney Henderson and threatened the district attorney the night before. Elsewhere, Diego Garcia, the drug cartel boss responsible for the deaths of Riley's family, learns that Riley has killed the lawyers involved in her case. In response, Garcia orders Cortez to put a bounty on Riley's head and make sure she's killed. At the same time, Garcia also starts coming under pressure from a rival cartel because within a single week, Riley has destroyed 2 of their drug shipments.
Don't let our business be interfered with again. There's something you need to remember.
While on her way, Riley meets a young boy and gives him the toy she had taken from Steven's house. After noticing the boy's father is drunk, Riley secretly follows him to a store. There, Riley points a gun at him and forces him to stop drinking and start acting like a responsible father. Riley also warns the store owner not to sell alcohol to the man anymore.
This is one of those. Do you understand me? I want you to take your boy.
After that, Riley drives away in the man's car, leaving behind some money in exchange. Next, Riley goes after Marvin, one of Garcia's men who is involved in the cartel's money laundering operation, through a piñata shop. Disguising herself as a poor woman, Riley manages to get close to place. To get inside, she first kills the 2 guards stationed outside.
Hey, you're in the wrong place.
But once inside the shop, the gang members immediately recognize her as the woman they're hunting and open fire. Riley then takes them out one by one until she finally captures Marvin. Riley interrogates Marvin to get information about Garcia's operation. After getting information she wants, Riley burns down the shop along with the laundered money stored inside. Marvin then goes to Garcia and reports everything that happened. Garcia becomes furious because he believes Marvin has leaked important information to Riley. Meanwhile, Riley's actions become headline news and spark all kinds of speculation on social media. Lisa and Carmichael then investigate the burned-down piñata shop. Even so, Carmichael still doubts that Riley is capable of carrying out such a complicated plan on her own. That's why he plans to contact the narcotics division to get more information about Garcia's whereabouts. On the other hand, Lisa becomes curious about Riley's hideout and how she has managed to disappear without leaving a single trace. Meanwhile, Garcia kills Marvin because he's convinced the man revealed the location of his lab to Riley. After that, Garcia begins setting a trap to kill Riley. Through the crime analysis unit, Lisa and Carmichael finally find a clue about Riley's location. They're surprised to learn that Riley has gained overwhelming support from the public. Lisa then notices an interesting pattern. She realizes there's one area where the crime rate has dropped dramatically over the past 3 months. Lisa suspects that's where Riley is hiding and immediately heads there. At the same time, Riley enters a warehouse that has been rigged with tripwires and explosives. Garcia's men are already waiting for her there. As soon as Riley realizes she's being trapped, she immediately looks for a way out and manages to avoid being detected. Not long later, the bomb explodes and destroys the entire building. Seeing the explosion, Garcia's men are convinced Riley is dead. But a few moments later, Riley emerges from a sewer tank connected to the area. She quickly steals a car and chases after them. Riley then blocks their vehicle on the road and kills both men. Using one of Garcia's men's vehicles, Riley manages to infiltrate Garcia's hideout. She moves from one area to another, taking out the guards who stand in her way. Before long, the hideout is filled with the bodies of Garcia's men. Eventually, Riley comes face to face with Garcia. But just as she's about to shoot him, Garcia's daughter appears in front of her. The little girl's presence immediately reminds Riley of her own daughter, Carly, who died. Garcia takes advantage of Riley's brief hesitation. He stabs Riley, then escapes with his daughter as the police begin arriving at the scene. Despite being injured, Riley also manages to escape. After that, she goes to Peg's house. Riley hits Peg, ties her up, then mocks her broken marriage.
Anymore?
You left okay. You're right.
After taking Peg's car, Riley immediately leaves the place. Meanwhile, Lisa contacts Carmichael and shows him the vehicle Riley is using. Lisa starts believing that Riley could actually become their ally in taking down Garcia's organization. That's why she wants Riley captured alive, so they can get information about Garcia and his drug suppliers. But as the investigation goes deeper, Lisa begins to suspect that someone inside the police department has been leaking information about Riley. It turns out Lisa is right. Carmichael then shoots Lisa and reveals that he has been Garcia's informant all along. Before that, Carmichael had given Garcia information about Riley's location and encouraged him to search for her in the Skid Row area with his man. Not long later, Riley comes face to face with Cortez. An intense fight becomes unavoidable. After a fierce fight, Riley finally manages to kill Cortez along with the armed men who are with him. After that, Riley finds Lisa's body. She then broadcasts the evidence Lisa had managed to collect directly to the public and reveals that Carmichael is a corrupt cop who has been working for Garcia all this time. Riley also invites the police and the media to come to the scene so the whole truth can be exposed. Over the radio, Garcia contacts Riley and orders her to surrender if she doesn't want to face even worse consequences. Riley immediately goes to him. As Garcia keeps beating her relentlessly, Riley quietly reaches for a pistol that has fallen to ground. At the same time, the police begin arriving at the scene. Seeing the situation becoming more chaotic, Garcia kills Carmichael because he believed the man has betrayed him to the police. After that, Garcia tries to escape, but Riley immediately chases after him. As soon as she takes him down, Riley prepares to end the life of the man who destroyed her family. However, Moises arrives and tries to stop her. He begs Riley to let the law punish Garcia and promises that this time Garcia won't be able to get away. Unfortunately, Riley no longer has any trust in the justice system. So, Riley chooses to keep her own promise by shooting Garcia in the face, killing him. The officers at the scene immediately open fire on Riley. However, Moises quickly orders them to stop.
Total clusterfuck.
The next morning, Moises finds Riley badly injured at her family's gravesite. Even though Riley begs him to let her die, Moises still takes her to the hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, the police chief appears on the news and states that Riley North must still be held accountable for all of her actions under the law. Sometime later, Moises visits Riley while she's still recovering under police supervision. He reveals that many people, including several police officers, secretly support what Riley has done. As a sign of his support, Moises intentionally leaves the key to Riley's handcuffs behind before leaving. Without saying a single word, he gives Riley the chance to choose her own path. Not long after that, Riley unlocks her handcuffs, escapes from the hospital, and disappears into the darkness.